So today I decided to challenge both you and me. I decided to go really, really far with this concept of reality transurfing and maybe not revisit it anymore. And we, you and I, and many others, I think there's few millions around the world today that read and discuss and try to execute the concept of reality transurfing, TUFT. In short, everything that Vadim Zeland is writing. And he's a very unique individual, probably one of a kind. But I will try to take this whole reality transurfing thing and present it to you the way I see it. Because to me, it's part of a much bigger puzzle. It's like a chapter in a book, in the book of reality. And if you don't really have a concept of the whole book, it's very hard to take that one chapter called Reality Transurfing and make a go. It's just next to impossible. We always feel like we are almost there, and here we're going to manifest, and one day something happens that we really try to manifest. But it's very much like a black box. We provide some input the way we are told. Well, sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't work. And it does not provide any feedback. So even if it works, we don't know why it worked this time and it didn't work another time. And the only way we are going to improve is by trying to understand what is in this black box and how does it work. So let's start by defining the different terms involved in taking apart the black box. First of all, what is reality? So reality is everything, and I mean everything, that a person is experiencing at any given time. And there is only one reality. It's that reality of that moment that we experience. There is absolutely no other realities. Any other reality we create in our mind, and it's not a reality, it's just an imagination. The mind can interpret it as reality, but reality is only what we perceive and experience at this very moment. And there is nothing else. There is no objective, collective, spiritual, material reality. There is no such thing. There is only the reality you and I experience at this very moment. So that's very important to remember. And how is reality created? Well, this is the key. If we understand how reality is created, then we would be able to create the reality we want, right? And this is where the black box comes into play here. So reality is created. I will show you a little concept here. With an iPad or with an iPhone, that will actually make you think in a different way about how reality is created. So look at this screen. This is a screen with an app where you can draw on the screen. So if I take my finger, as you can see, I can draw a line. And the question I'm going to ask you is, did I draw a line? And you probably say yes, it's right there on the screen. And I'll say no, I didn't draw a line. All I did, I moved my finger on the screen. That line was not drawn by my finger. There is no ink in there. What happened was the computer in this iPhone sensed where I was touching on the screen And in return, and that happens very fast, so it looks like in real time, but it isn't. In return, it drew the line exactly in the places I touched. So now that's very important to understand, because reality is created the same way. When you take action, what you actually do, you send a signal, call it, to the computer, which is the collective consciousness, or God, or the source, call it whatever you like. And in return, you get your reality, which is right here. And let's take it a little bit further. A human, or any conscious creature for that matter, look at it as having two interfaces. Say the human is in the middle here, and there are two interfaces, one on this side and one on this side. Okay, let's say this is the front interface, and through this interface, I can experience everything that can be experienced with my five senses. And this is what I call reality, right? On the other side, on the back, there's another interface, and that interface is connected to the collective consciousness. But that interface does not work on the five senses. This one is connected via the sixth sense. And what is the sixth sense? Is really a direct access to our brain, to our mind, bypassing the five senses. So I can see something all of a sudden, but it wasn't really collected with my eyes. It went directly into where my eyes actually are connected to. So everything that comes from that other interface, from the collective consciousness, is communicating via the sixth sense. And the thing is that we do not control that sixth sense. We can suggest things. This is actually our subconscious. We can suggest things, but we cannot really determine what is going in and out through that interface. And going back to that line on the screen that I showed you, when you draw the line, it goes through the back here. So it goes through that sixth sense into the collective consciousness. And what you get in return comes on this side, to your five senses interface. And this is your reality. Now, as you can see, we are taking that black box apart a little bit. So, why can't I send through this back interface a request for the reality I like to have? The reason for it is that what you sent out there is an emotional information. It's not what your mind creates. Your mind provides part of that information to your subconscious, but the subconscious is the one that edits and packages that information and then sends it to the collective consciousness. So what I'm saying here really is that in order to request what you really want, you have to do it through a feeling. Obviously, that feeling, you will start it with your mind because you want something, right? So you think about it. But you have to package it in an emotional envelope. And only when you do that, and when I say emotional, it can be good or bad, it doesn't matter. You can be extremely happy and feel how this whole thing in your mind is getting together and how you're actually going to get it. And that feeling is the one that's going to create that reality for you. Or you can be extremely upset or angry and curse somebody with that emotion, and you will create the same result. You will actually create that reality. So it has to be emotional. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Obviously, we prefer to do the good one, but sometimes we also do the bad one. This is what the evil eye is all about. because most of us know it works. Somebody wants to hurt us and they start to think, oh, this guy is so successful, and they actually send a negative, jealous signal out there through that interface. You will get hurt. Now, let's focus on the problem. Why we can't manifest these things, or we can do some of them. One reason is that we don't believe completely that we can actually do it. And in order to make it happen, we have to believe. The second thing is that we have to be comfortable in the situation we're trying to create. So if I want to manifest $1 million, my personality has to be comfortable in this reality where I have $1 million. Because if all of a sudden I feel uncomfortable, and this is all upfront, it's my imagination, how I think about it, right? If I feel that if I had $1 million, I'll lose half my friends because they will say, oh, you're a rich guy now. You know, we don't deal with rich guys. They are all corrupt. And then I would start thinking, well, I have to change my lifestyle. Now all of a sudden my kids, people will say, your dad has $1 million and things. So I may feel already uncomfortable in that situation. Well, if I feel like that, it's not going to happen. And I'm going to demonstrate it to you with another line, which is totally unrelated to the line that I drew on on the screen. And this is a new line that I'm going to show you. And it's a very interesting concept that I think reflects actually how things are. So, you see, let's draw a horizontal line here on this paper. I hope you can see it. Here is an horizontal line, okay? And let's say that everything that you can manifest easily, like going to get the post from the mailbox or going to have this cup of coffee, comes under the line, okay? Anything that you cannot easily manifest, or you think that you cannot manifest, period, is going above the line, okay? So now we have a line that separates what we can manifest easily and what we either cannot or is very hard. So, obviously, if you want to manifest something that's not easy to manifest, it has to be brought under the line. It cannot be above the line. And what is the line? Is those two items that I talked about before. Is the one that you have to believe that you can do it, and the second one, you have to be comfortable in the situation you're trying to create. Once you fulfill those two requirements, the thing will come under the line, and then it will just happen. Because going to get the post, you believe 100% that you can do it. You know, all you have to do is get up and go and get it, and you also feel comfortable. Like once you get the post and bring it and read it, whatever it is, it's okay. It's a situation that you are used to, right? So the big question is, how do you bring it under the line? Like, what are the steps to take, right? Because theory is one thing, but in practice, what do you do? So I've been struggling with it too. You know, otherwise I would be a magician, right? I'm getting there, but we are all on that journey. Some of us are more advanced, some of us are less advanced, but we are all trying to get there. I think that the best way to deal with it for the normal person, because some people maybe by now, because they already understand and feel inside how these things work, they can actually go switch off this video and go and manifest something, because now they know what's in the black box. But for most of us, we need to go through the steps. So my best suggestion would be to go and use the salami concept. Slice it very, very, very thin and fine. So take something that you can do and then add to it a very, very small layer of something you cannot do, and try to bring that under the line. Try to make it feel that you can do it, and you can execute it, and you believe that you are comfortable in it. And take it in small steps. If you can move to a point where before it was above the line, and then it's under the line, then anything can be done. You realize that. Now I'll tell you another secret. The line that I drew there does not exist. It's a line that you create in your mind because of your beliefs, how you are born, the fact that you are human, and humans have certain characteristics and parameters. That line is a virtual line, so it doesn't even exist. So the truth is that if you realize that, if you can actually go to that highest stage and convince yourself that there is no line, then you will do anything. Right? So I think that for reality transurfing, this is everything I have to say. Obviously, like I said before, reality transurfing is just a small little piece of what I'm dealing with, which is the whole concept of God, universe, reality, purpose, etc., etc. So I will continue in my future videos to deal with the big picture, but I don't think that I'll be going back into reality transurfing because, like I said, this is the whole thing. So this is it for today. I hope that you can benefit from this. I think that this is huge if you can get it. And please let me know. Let me know how that influenced and changed your dealing with reality transurfing and manifesting realities. Thank you.